Perfect. And yeah, I know we've covered it or mentioned it a few times today, but data is obviously the real lifeblood of many of the technologies that we'll cover today. It's at the heart of everything. So how does a company ensure that its data set and its data approach is robust enough to achieve success with these new technologies?
So as you say, this is a very trendy topic among all the organizations, including ours. The first thing to do from my perspective is really understand the potential of your data. We always have in mind the data leaders like the Googles, etc., which by nature, this is their business. We are not at that scale, right? So we have a gigantic amount of data, but I think that we need to put in place to start the data governance model that we have. So what can we do with our data? What is the ownership model behind the data? Some of them are I would say, process data. Some of them are data that we also receive from information providers. So there is and the combination of that creates some complex pattern, right? So understanding the potential of our data is the first element. Then we need to put in place, I would say, the technical foundation in the form of, most of the case, a data lake, leveraging on cloud computing, to be able to ingest in a smart manner all the different data sources and put them at the disposal of your data engineer and your data scientist. Because that's the second element that I think we need also to consider. Data engineering is not something that you improvise. This is really a specific skill set, and this relates also to the talent discussions that we just had. It is very important, and we have invested massively into data engineering capability and data scientists. To ensure that not only we have a single source of data, but we can engineer the data in a way that can provide value for us and for our clients.
If I could just ask a question on that. We added a category of data services to the survey to try and separate the IT from the underlying data, and it seems that nearly all providers recognize that you have huge amounts of data that could be useful. And what's not clear to me from the survey results is everyone wants actionable insights from that data. Do your clients want you to deliver the actionable insights, or do they, as Yannick suggested, want you to construct a framework where they can have their data scientists extract the insights?
So data has certainly evolved, right? We started out with data for reporting, data for MIS purposes, to maybe about a couple of years ago to data and its communication medium as an enabler to optimize costs, to now, from a provider's viewpoint, we hope to get to the stage whereby we look at data as a product, data as a differentiator, versus data for data itself, right? So what does clients look for in that space that you just mentioned is really instantaneous data, and that's straightforward because everybody wants the most updated trade statuses at your fingertip. But what we also realize that it doesn't stop there. So we do have clients, especially for example, global custodian type of clients. Data is not just for them now; it's actually for their clients. So you got to a stage whereby we don't provide data just for our clients. We have to take care of data for our clients itself. And in that process, how do you ensure a three-way visibility? And which means that your data has to be very accurate, right? Once you put it there, you can share your data three-way with your clients and their end clients itself, which means that latency in terms of trade status update, client servicing remediations or anything can be pretty instantaneous versus like the passing of the ball concept as in the past. So that's kind of like where directionally is actually trending towards in that direction. In terms of insights and reporting, what we see is more of adding of third-party data, right? Like for example, ESG data into the data flow that we have. So what we have is only the subset of trades information, position information, but when you get to the accounting piece itself, clients may ask for ESG data to be included to formulate certain reports back for them. So that is inclusion of third-party data that we will need to look at. So that's the reason why we can't really now look at data just as a base, but data as a product. So when you change that mindset, you will then be able to come through with differentiators, hopefully, to differentiate yourself from your peers, and then you offer a much more holistic approach for your clients. So that's kind of what we look at. So now we don't look at our own ecosystem, we look at our client's ecosystem. We even have to look at our client's ecosystem to actually determine what data we really would need to complete the value chain.
And as Richard mentioned, the volume of data that passes through the industry is incredible, really. And I imagine Clearstream is one of the most who process millions of transactions every day. How do you manage to extract the most value from that data? And do you think we're there? Do you think you're extracting the full value, or is there still a way to go?
No, as I said, we have started this data journey, I would say two years ago. We started from the foundational work, as I said, so the data lake, leveraging on the cloud toolkits that are available. But I think you mentioned one important element. This is the mindset change. We need to change the way we consider data. And data product, I think, is really an important element. The traditional way of dealing with data is to basically take the client's data, to consolidate them, to format in a way that we believe is suitable for the client himself. And we see that more and more we have a shift of demand from clients where they want to more and more access to raw data. So they don't ask us necessarily to format and to provide traditional report, but rather to give access to a set of data that they can use either for their own business, but also, as mentioned by Yin, for their own clients. So in Clearstream, we're also investing not only, I would say, in the Clearstream data capability, but we're also leveraging on the Deutsche Börse Group capability. We are also investing, still leveraging on cloud onto the data mesh infrastructure, where basically we can also combine the Clearstream data together with the other business segments within the group. That creates also additional opportunities. Obviously, we will not be able to provide client data A to client data B, but we can combine client data A and client data B to provide something else to both A and B clients. And this value extraction that is, for me, the core of the challenge that we have in the data. But that presumes that we change our mindset in the way we provide access to data, and we make use of our data. This is also back to the topic about capabilities in terms of people. We really need to have data engineer and data scientists working together, again, to understand data, and also to use data to detect patterns that are somehow disconnected from the classical business. So it's easy to report on asset servicing data, on transactional data, on reference data, etc. What is not easy is to create new patterns that we believe are valuable. For example, I don't know, most traded bonds, most liquid asset, the cheapest collateral piece that we have in Clearstream. So this information is a result of our capability as a data aggregator to build new patterns that we believe are valuable for our clients and that we can structure into new data products.
Great. And looking further down the line, I know it's quite a nascent technology, but how do you expect in the future quantum computing could potentially have an impact in security services? I know it's been kind of rolled out in a couple of other financial services sectors, but yeah, how do you see that it could have an impact in our industry in the future?
So I'm sure that you can answer that one, but from my perspective, if we take the 5 major trends over the last year that we mentioned, so around cloud, around data and AI, automation at scale, DLT and quantum computing, this is probably for our industry the less mature technology. It cannot be ignored, though, because it has great potential. It creates great risk from my perspective, because obviously the capability around cryptography, right, and the capability to break very easily all the numeric key that we use to protect our environment is potentially at risk. So, but that's also create opportunities, notably I would say in everything that is related to a risk scenario analysis, where the the computing capability that you need is gigantic, and by definition, a less deterministic model like quantum computing is extremely helpful in this area. The clear downside for that is that to do quantum computing, you need to have quantum computer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's extremely difficult to build, to maintain, to operate. It is exclusive to a limited number of people. And if you look into the time horizon of those different technology, we can easily say that AI is probably weeks or months. DLT is probably 18 months to 2 years. Quantum computing, from my perspective, is rather 5 to 10 years when it becomes really material for our industry.
Ying,
Yeah.
did you have anything to add there?
Yeah, I share his view. So for us, quant is really more in the pre-trade space itself.
Okay.
Yeah, whereby the traders will use tons of data, right? It's openly available using your historical data to figure out where should be the next pot of gold and the next set of executions. When you come to the asset servicing space, right, our data is more limited to what we as a provider has from our client. So you really want to get to the stage of whereby you can really leverage on the true benefits of quantum computing. You need to have access to all data and not just your own data. So I do think that actually from the service provider like Clearstream, which is a central depository itself with everybody's data, or a typical central depository, they should be able to reap the benefits of quantum computing way ahead of me, which is kind of in between the value chain itself. So that's how I see it directionally.